All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some Red Blue Marco. That's right, we're going to be doing another deep dive into Red Blue Marco, another comprehensive deck builder style of guide, because we have some new cards to talk about. We've got some new meta to check out, and a lot of good stuff coming this way. Still some things I'm concerned about we'll talk about as we get into the actual subject matter. But first things first, guys, let me give you a quick layout, a quick overview of what we're going to be getting into today. First things first, we're going to be heading over to the lab and checking out a game of Red Purple Law versus Jewelry Bonney. Okay, that's a very meta matchup nowadays for us over here in the West. Now, from there, from the lab, we will be hopping over to the OnePieceTopDecks.com website and checking out how Red Blue Marco is doing, because things have changed. You know, with OP08.5 now being legal in the East, and for those who are wondering, OP08.5, excuse me, that just means that it's OP08 plus the new starter decks that have just been released. So whenever you hear someone say 0.5 of a set, that means it's in the OP0 whatever set, and with the addition of an extra supplemental set or a new starter deck or something like that. We'll check out how the meta is over in the East, because we have no data from the West yet, because this leader is not legal currently for us over here in the West. Then we will hop over to the sim. I'll show you guys 5 games on the sim playing Red Blue Marco. That'll be me playing Red Blue Marco. 3 of the games will be the Whitebeard Pirates version. 2 of the games will be a 7 Warlords version. There might be something there. We'll talk about that as we get to it, but just, you know, some interesting stuff to look at. Excuse me. Then we will break down the deck list that I'm running. I'll give you my final thoughts on it, and we'll wrap up the video with an art critique. Okay, so you know what you're getting into. I will have everything timestamped in the general description, and all the relevant links will be posted in the comment section along with the deck lists. Okay? All right, guys, let's get into this. You know what we're getting into. All right, first things first, we are going to be on the lab here. Okay, let me remove this leader slide. There we go. So for those who are not aware of what this portion of my videos are, I try to have one of these at the beginning of every video now. And it is a community submitted video of, you know, someone playing whatever deck they want to play. And then they basically upload it to YouTube and send me the link in Discord under a special channel I have on the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already, guys. We're almost at 700 people in the Discord now. And there's a channel called Review My Game, okay? And you can post the link there, and then I will throw it in line. I do have about 5 pages worth of reviews to go over, but I'll throw you in line, guys, and when it's your turn, you're the next one up. You know what I mean? So for anyone interested in me just reviewing their content, and I'll do like a little bit of an analysis saying like, hey, here's what I think you should have done differently here or differently there. It's kind of like a first come, first serve basis for like free coaching. It's my way of trying to give back to the community. And hey, me giving back in this way is you guys also helping me by, you know, having extra content to put into each one of my daily YouTube videos. So, okay, that was a little bit long-winded, but that's what this portion of the video is. Excuse me, that's what this portion of the video is. This is not me playing. This is random people on the Discord and in the community. And as you can see, I have everything blacked out where you can't see their names. You know, no one's going to get made fun of. No one knows who it is. I mean, hey, some people do say in the comment section, like, hey, that was me, which is cool, right? It's like, okay, I was featured on a YouTube video. Good stuff. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and dive into this game. Jewelry Bonney is who we're going to be looking through the eyes of. Notice we can see their cards at the bottom left. We will be looking through the eyes of the Jewelry Bonney player who is playing against, excuse me, a Red Purple Law player. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the settings. I got to put the playback speed at 2x. The quality's up, sound is off, and we're good to go, guys. We're good to go. All right, so let's see who's going first. It looks like the Bonney player is going to go second. So Red Purple Law going first. No turn 2 play. So that's smart, not playing the Rosinante. But at the same time, hear me out for a second. We do have 2 of them. And I don't know, I will say this. So this is in the 1.23a version of the sim. There's a new updated version. Actually, this would have been updated so that it could have been OP07 only. So with that in mind, playing out a Rosinante now and then another one on the next turn, that does become a lot for them to deal with. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Excuse me, each time is going to be Dawn -3 every single activation of that. Now, if they want to do that this early on, I'm fine with it, right? Because we're going up 2 Dawn every turn as the Bonney player. It's not a misplay, by the way. I'm not saying this is a misplay at all. But one thing to consider, another route, another like potential book move. I like to have the chess terms, guys, for those who are aware of like chess. Another potential book move here would have been, hey, just slam down the Don Quixote Rocinante. What are they going to do on their 3-Don turn? I mean, I guess they could bottom deck and play out Shashi and Penguin, but they can do that anyway. And then they would, you know, but how do I say it? They're probably not going to choose to do that. I don't know what's in the red purple law players' hands, obviously, but they're probably not going to try to bottom deck something on turn 1 when it's just a Rocinante blocker. Excuse me, because, and think about it, if they do, they're only slowing themselves down. They'll be at 2 Dawn after that if they play out a Shashi and Penguin. And then guess what you do next turn? Play out another one? You want to bottom deck it again and go down to 2 Dawn again for the turn, or 3 Dawn potentially? And like I was saying, it's almost like bait. That's another way you could look at it, that, you know, there's another possible way to deal with it in that regard. Okay, now back to what we were looking at. Let me remove the chess meter. Again, not a misplay at all, by the way. Not a misplay at all, but just another potential route. And see now look what happened. They decided they're going to just load up 8. We could have just used our Rocinante blocker there, because that would have acted as like a 4K counter? That would have almost been like a 4K counter. Or, okay, sure, like we were saying, just bottom deck our card if you want to, which will cost 3 Dawn, and then we can just counter out of a 1K counter attack or whatever. Again, not saying it had to be done, because drawing cards from life, that is another resource. That's a whole nother resource. So there were quite a few different directions this game could have gone. Already very interesting. Okay, we did get a 9-cost Zoro, so that, I don't know how strong 9-cost Zoro is against Red Purple Law. I don't think the game will go on that long, but okay, we're going to swing for 8 here. We're going to leave 1 Dawn active in case they try to play out extra stuff this turn, catch your opponent slipping. Absolutely. But with the way rush characters work, you can't really benefit from that, right? There is no real way to benefit from it. When they can attack first with an empty board, it'll be really hard to punish them, unless they just made a direct misplay, which, hey, like I said, play to their, you know, try to see if they're going to mess up. Okay, so we go ahead and take the 5K hit. That seems a little bit greedy. Oh, okay, and we did get punished. So okay, so here we go. Now, another thing to consider, I had not considered this when I first said it, guys. Another reason to maybe play out these Rocinantes, just play out 1, then play out 2. You're dumping your hand size down and countering out of that last attack there. That would have been very nice. You know what I mean? That would have actually been very, very nice. But instead, we did get punished. We lost a 2K counter. And what else did we lose? Randomly sent a Rosinante. So we lost the Rosinante anyway at the end of the day, right? So we lost 1 Rosinante and 1 2K counter Scratchman of Pooh from the Trafalgar Law. Okay? Not the worst thing in the world. You know, there's still a lot of game left, guys, right? At least potentially. Are we on 2x speed? Yeah. Okay, there's still potentially a lot of game left. Okay, so it looks like we're going to start off by swinging 5 here, because we have 6 for a Basil Hawkins. But yeah, I was going to say I'd rather play out the Cavendish here. Okay, plays out the Basil Hawkins, does not choose to swing. So I would have at least swung first, then played out the Basil Hawkins, get counters out of their hand. But at the same time, I understand. I'm sure the person watching this is like, yeah, but I didn't want them to be able to have access to, like, Reiju or something. Well, here's the sad news about that. They're going to play Reiju if they want to. You know what I mean? They'll play out a 2K counter if they have to -2 to this guy and do this, do that. If they need to, they'll play out the card. You know what I mean? Or they'll try something else. Excuse me. But whatever the case is, you know, that was probably a very smart play in that regard. But I would rather just attack into them, because there's also the situation of, what if they don't have a Reiju? You know what I mean? So that's just the way I'd have gone about it. I would have attacked there. So 6 Dawn turn for the Red Purple Law player. Let's see what happens here. They do have a strong blocker, but yeah, so right now they're going to swing for 5. You might as well use your Basil Hawkins here, because they're going to remove the Basil Hawkins. Yeah. Okay, 1K counter, that's fine. So what they're going to choose to do here is they're going to remove this Basil Hawkins. You have to have a character to rest in order to use his effect. So they're going to bottom deck it here. We have no enemy target that it can only tap a character. So now we are going to lose the Basil Hawkins. That was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. But like I said, it would have been better to just cash in on the Basil Hawkins right away by blocking out the Trafalgar Law. But hey, not the end of the world. Excuse me. And now again, notice what I was saying. This guy is down to 3 Dawn after all this. That's why I was saying it's not really the worst idea in the world to just slam down these Rosinantes against Red Purple Law. Let them bottom deck it. Hey, do you want to go down to 2 Dawn and just stay really low on your Dawn count? Because that does help me win this game if you're going to go this slow. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. We have 8 Dawn this turn now. And I do wish we had played out the Cavendish last turn, just so they couldn't get the extra attack and so he didn't lose any extra cards from hand. Okay, looks like we're going to swing for 9 into 5. I do like that, leaving 1 Dawn active for the leader effect. Again, it's not really great into a board with no characters, but still. I like countering out of this, sure. We already have a Cavendish. You can only have 1 Cavendish on the field at a time. He will probably try to bottom deck this. Yep, Otama. Oh, okay. So that was actually ideal, believe it or not. The fact that he used a 2K counter out of hand and this, this 4-cost 5K counter, or 5K counter, that'd be crazy. The 4-cost 5K promo law that does minus 2,000 on play. This is not the worst case scenario in the world, that's for sure. Okay, so we are on our first 10 Dawn turn. What do? Our opponent does only have 4 Dawn. That is one thing going in our favor. We still have 2... Excuse me. We still have 2 life left. We're going to slam a Zoro. Okay. So we still have 2 life left. We have 2 0-cost 3K counter events. And then we have a 2K counter in hand. And then 3 1K counters, right? So I don't think this game is over. And if Zoro sticks, then this guy is in oodles of trouble, right? I would not believe if he was going to be able to remove this... what's his name? Zoro. Okay, go ahead and rest down the character. Yeah, I agree with that. Make sure that character is going to get rested. Because if you had chosen... So hear me out for a second. If you chose to rest the leader in that situation, they might just not attack with the Shachian Penguin, potentially, if they play out a bunch of blockers here. So then you'd only have 1 target to attack. You see what I mean? So resting the character was actually the technical correct decision. There was a correct decision there. Excuse me. Some people think like, oh, but they're both 5K attacks. Yes, that part is true, but there is a relevant target here. Go ahead and play out they're going to go ahead and play out the Raise You to draw 2 cards. They're going to swing for 7 with leader. Probably use the leader effect here, right? Yeah, -3 here. Play out Trafalgar, 4-cost blocker law. And that might be, oh, wow. Okay. And then we top deck a Hody Jones. Okay, I was going to say, that makes things complicated. That makes things interesting because, excuse me, what I was going to say, guys, is actually we needed every attack on the board to hit unless we get a rush card. And that is one of the best closers in the game right there. That one right there, Hody Jones. Okay? Now it does complicate things a little bit, right? Because, let me see. We need 3 Dawn active in order to use our Zoro fully. So I think in this situation what we need to do is we need to go Hody Jones first, rest your blocker, rest the blocker on the Raise You, whatever, and then swing for 5 with Jewelry Bonney, swing for 8 with Hody Jones, and then swing for 3 9s. Let me do it like this. For 3 9s with the Zoro. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I've not seen this game, obviously. Okay, we're going to go for the board. Going to go for a more defensive route. I was considering going for game right here, guys. I'm not even going to lie. Okay, and we're still playing out the Hody Jones. Very nice. Wait. So swing for the 8 first. Might as well swing for the 8 first because it's a lower number. Okay, so I will say definitely swing for the 8 first in that situation. And then swing for 8. They'll see, and they are going to have it. Now we're in a lot of trouble. So I would have at least swung for the 8 first. It might not have mattered. In all fairness, it might not have mattered. But that was a slight inaccuracy because think about it. What if he only had those 2K counters in hand and your last attack was the 8 when it could have been the 9? You know what I mean? What if he had drawn those 2K counters from his life? Now, let's go back to where we were. First, we attacked into the board. I kind of liked that. And then it's like, you know what? We actually could have wiped his entire board. So hear me out for a second. Okay, right here, so swing for 5. He used a counter to get out of it. He only has 4 cards in hand. So now we can actually wipe his entire board with what we have right here. And I'm also going to talk about something else as well. We probably could have done it, period, right? We probably could have done that anyway, but we still could play out the Rosinante as well here. I don't think this game's over, by the way, but let's see what happens. Okay, so right here, we could have, okay, so I think we could have attacked into every character on the board here for 9. So, excuse me. First, we swung 5 into the Trafalgar Law, got a 1K counter out of hand. That was perfect. That was brilliant. Then we could have gone 9 into each one of these characters on the board and an 8. And he only has 4 cards in hand, and then we could have just tried to win next turn. Because remember, we only have 1 life, right? That really stinks. But our opponent only has 3 Dawn. They can't load up everything on Otama. Well, excuse me, they can. Say they have a Kid Killer in hand, right? They could go 5 on Otama. We can counter out with a 1K counter in hand. And then go 6 on their leader, 2K counter out for the card in hand. And then they'd only have Kid Killer, and then we win on the following turn. So there is something to consider there. Going for the board was probably not even that bad of a call. But okay, so let's see what actually happened. We swung for 9 3 times. They take every single hit, and then they counter out of the 8K with 2K counters. This is why I was saying it would have been very important to swing out the swing with the 8K at life first, if that was the route you were going to go. But going for the board would have been more important because they were able to draw 3 cards to counter out with from their life in order to get in this situation. Okay, let's see what happens. In turn, not looking good. Oh, we can't even play out the Rosinante. That's right, because we had to use all 3 Dawn on our Zoro. So it's going to be about, okay, a 7K. Maybe it's not over yet because they only have 3 Dawn left. Easy 1K counter, sure. 7, we have to go 2-1. Okay. Swing for 5. 1K. Oh, are we going to be 1K off here? Swing for 6. Oh, GG. Now, they did have one more attack they were going to bring out from their hand. It would have been another 5K attack. So, technically, we were about 2K counter off there. But still, hopefully you understand what I was saying there. There was potential there for us to just literally just eat up their entire board with the Hody Jones play that you did, which I did like that play. I did like the Hody Jones play, to be honest. But look at their hand otherwise. It is totally bricked. They have nothing. They have 2 1K counters in their entire hand. So if we had gone 7s, 8s, and 9s at the board and stuff like that, played out a blocker to get more Dawn off the deck or off their side of the board, then I think we'd have been completely fine. I don't even think, let me say this, I don't even think we needed to play out the Hody Jones. Let me show you something real quick. We have 2 life still. So one other potential play we could have done there was, okay, 9 into one of your 5-cost guys, right? And then untap him. 9 into the other 5-cost guy. See what he does. He's going to let those go, by the way. Those cards are going to be gone. Then we will have 2 life left, and our opponent will only have 3 attacks next turn, and then whatever he has in hand. However, we could play out the Rosinante, and that would slow him down because he would have to Dawn -3 just to get rid of it. And then what would he do? Cheat out a Zoro? Sure. Okay, but we can counter out of that, and we'd have, these 1Ks, these 1,000, or excuse me, 1Ks. We would have these cards in life to, to counter out with. Because we have a 2K counter in hand, a 1K, and then the Rosinante. So we actually could have just, like I said, smashed into the board a little bit here, eaten up everything, maybe swung 1 attack at life. Excuse me. And then next turn, we could go for the final blow with Hody Jones when we don't have any life cards left. You see what I'm saying? Because let's see what we drew from life. We got a 1K counter Bonney, and then let me see what else we drew. Okay. They attack. Whoops. And we got a 1K counter Jewelry Bonney. So we would have gotten 2 more 1,000 power and counter to get out of these attacks, potentially, from our life. That was a great game. Like I said, I think there were a few inaccuracies at the end here. Where, number 1, we should have swung first with the 8K. It probably wouldn't have mattered, like I said, but at least as far as like proper sequencing goes. Because that was I did like this play playing out the Hody, just not swinging at life. So hear me out. So right here, when you chose to drop these 2 targets, he only has 4 cards in hand. He drew 3 cards, one for the turn, and then 3 cards from his life. So who knows what he had in his hand before you started attacking here. But if you had gone 5 into Trafalgar Law, he gave us a 1K counter. And then go 8 into Trafalgar Law, and then 3 9s across the board. That's that, right? We do only have 1 life left, but we have the cards in hand to get out of these little attacks because he's only going to have so much Dawn to work with. He'll only have 5 Dawn to work with. So he would have been able to play out a Zoro, swing for 5, 1K counter, swing for 5 with their leader with 1K counter, and then they're going to swing for 7 with the next Zoro, right? They're going to return 3 Dawn and put the unrested 2 Dawn on their Zoro, and they're going to swing for 7. We actually had that too, right? Because there's a 1K counter in life to get out of one of the attacks, another 1K counter in our hand, and then a 2K, 1K. We actually were fine. We were 1K counter over, and that was with us attacking to the full board, assuming they would not be able to block out of all that. Who knows? Maybe they had 2 2K counters in hand. We're not sure, though. We'll never know, but that might have been a technically more accurate play. Awesome game. Thank you for submitting that. Really good stuff there. Okay, let me get set up for a second here, guys. Give me just 1 second. All right, I got to black out the screen, move my face over here, and let me get a setup on the meta. Talking about this right here, and there we go. Okay, let me go turn off the sim overlay too. That would be nice. All right, here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on over in the East We're not going to check out anything from the West today because we don't have access to the OP08 leaders. Okay, very soon, right? I think we're like a month and a half, 2 months away from that. But hey, that's that's around the corner. We're not there yet. And what we're going to check out first is Red Blue Marco. That is OP08 Marco, and we're not going to check anything before July here because this is when the new starter deck came out with the new cards. In fact, I thought it was in the 21st. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me check the 714 and 715 one. No, this does have the new cards. Okay, so we will check out these four. We're going to check out these four OP08 Red Blue Marco decks, guys. We got some really interesting stuff to talk about. Excuse me. So this one right here got first place in a 3v3 tournament with 75 players. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the team games or whatever these are. It's hard to explain because I don't know what deck was winning. You know what I mean? Like if you're on a team of 3 players, right? It's you and 2 other players, and let's just say you're losing every game, but your 2 teammates win every single game. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything for that deck, right? Or someone explain to me if I've got that off. Because I think it's like a best of 3, where it's like you combine your 3 teammates' scores against the other 3 team, and if your team had 2 winners and they only had 1, well, you win. But if y'all had 1 winner and they had 2, you lose. You know what I mean? Or 3, if it's 3-0 blowout, you know, I need to know that as well. So again, that's why I'm not a huge fan of these 3v3 format tournaments, because there's just not enough information out on them, on what matchups there were, and all that stuff. Okay, now let's go ahead and check this out, guys. First of all, what does the leader do? I got to do a quick, you know, so spoiler warning, we will be talking about an OP08 leader. This is it on the screen here. That's the entire focus of today's video, right? So here we go. Marco is a 5,000 power, 4 life, red and blue, Whitebeard Pirates type leader. He has Dawn ×1, activate main, once per turn, draw 1 card. Then, place 1 card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck, and then up to one of your opponent's characters get minus 2,000 for the turn. Up to one of your opponent's characters get minus 2,000 power for this turn. Sorry, it doesn't say power there, guys, but it probably is implied. Okay, so very incredibly generic effect. Notice that it doesn't have to be Whitebeard Pirates. You're not even revealing the card. You're attaching 1 Dawn to your leader and just looking at the top card. Excuse me, you're drawing the top card of your deck, and then you're putting it on you're putting a card from your hand on the top or bottom, and then you're giving minus 2,000 power for a character. So right away, with a deck like this, guys, with a leader like this, I should say, we're going to want to utilize cards that KO based off of power, and we also want to utilize ways for us like rush characters so that we can attack into our opponent's board and win the game in that way, right? We just want to bash into our opponent's board and have full board control. There is a third factor as well. There are cards in this game, that actually show the top card of your deck. They reveal it, and there are potential effects from there to play. So we can also set that up with a leader effect like this. Okay, really good example of that would be Sanji, the 9-cost blue Sanji with a card like, you know, some massive card that he can play out like a 9-cost Whitebeard. Now, first list we're going to look at, let me go ahead and run through the list right here, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Let me make sure this is 51 cards. It is 51 cards. So, running 4 Jozu, 2 of the 7-cost Ace, 4 of the 4-cost Marco, 4 Izo, 4 of the 5-cost Marco, 4 Newgate, the 7-cost. This is the new Newgate. That's weird to say. From ST15. We'll read this in a minute. Pause and read it, but I will come back to this in a minute. 4 of the new 2K counter Thatch. This is from ST15 as well. 4 of the new Ace from ST15. So a lot of Whitebeard Pirate support came out of ST15, guys. And then we have Silver's Rayleigh at 4 of. I really like that. For those who don't know, Rayleigh is my favorite character, so of course I'm very happy to see a deck running 4 of him. And we'll talk about this. This card is cracked in this deck, guys. Very, very strong. Then we're running 2 King Dew. This is a new 2K counter coming out of OP08. 2 Rad Beams, 4 Seaquakes, 4 Fire Fist, and 4 Sanji's Pilaf. All right, excuse me. So the thing about the events is you do need a pretty decent amount of events to capitalize on Marco's effect, the 5-cost Marco, because you have to trash an event to survive a KO. But there's one other thing as well. Fire Fist, it says you may discard 1 event from your hand and KO up to one of your opponent's 5K characters and 4K characters. And then the trigger can pop a 5K or less. Sorry, guys. Man, throat's going crazy right now. But here's the thing. This leader allows us to do so much more with cards like Fire Fist and with cards like Rayleigh, which is also dealing with power manipulation, cards like Marco. I even like running Vista. A lot of people aren't running Vista, but a lot of people are running this now as well. Check this card out, guys. 7 costs, 8,000 power, on play. Give your leader or one of your characters up to 1 Rested Dawn. So he enters play as a 7 cost 8k and gives a Dawn to your leader, right? Or a character. But you're going to give it to your leader because listen to this activate main. You may rest this character and KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less. Okay, remember what our leader does, minus 2,000 power. So if you attach 1 Dawn to your leader after playing out Edward Newgate, and you do a top, you draw the card, use the leader effect to minus 2,000 power to a character for the turn. Well, this activate main can happen right away, guys. You can activate cards like activate main immediately in the game of One Piece. I know a lot of Magic the Gathering players might be thinking, wait, you can do tap effects as soon as they enter play? Yes, in One Piece you can do that. You don't have to have haste or something like that. You can use this card immediately. You can't attack with it unless it has rush. But activate mains can be used the turn they are played, even if it causes you to rest the character. That is huge, right? So this allows you to pop a 7,000 power character or less with the leader effect, and you can do it on curve because he attaches a Dawn just by himself. He does it for you. So this card is just absolutely incredible with Marco. Y'all give me just 1 second, guys. I got to take a sip of my drink. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had to take a quick sip of my drink there. So, Rayleigh, go ahead and pause and read this. I have talked about this before. OP08 cards I have done an entire review on. I will be checking out and going over all of the new starter deck stuff very soon, but not yet. I want to wait till we're a little bit closer to the release of the starter decks in the West. So we're talking like probably 2 months out, guys, before I do that. I'll probably mess with it a little bit before then, but I do want to wait for quite some time to go over this because we just can't use it yet. I mean, you can use it on the sim, right? We can use it on the sim, but I'd rather, cover this, when we actually, I'd rather cover this when it's closer to the time where we can actually play with it. But again, like I said, it is content. It's like content, and I know people want to play these on the sim right now, so I will probably go over something a little sooner than what I said. All right, so overall, though, this deck is very straightforward. It's got a strong defensive package with Radical Beams. It's got a strong offensive package with Seaquakes and Fire Fist. I would rather this be... I'm going to be honest, guys. I understand it is an event which helps you protect cards like Marco and activate cards like Fire Fist. But 2 things. I would rather this be Vista because it has a 1k counter. And on top of that, it's a body. And lastly, I would rather it... If not Vista, then I would rather it be Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I see where this card is good. Like, don't get me wrong. I see where this card is extremely good. But I would much rather be something else that's a little better in this slot. Because while Seaquake is very strong, it's very good. Get around all these different, if your leader has Whitebeard Pirates in its type, KO, excuse me, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. I would rather just have something else there personally, even if it is a Vista or a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, something along those lines with a little bit more utility. However, like I said, I understand 1 cost and the trigger to be able to do minus 3,000. The trigger can save you. The trigger can win you a game. Let's just be honest. That trigger can literally win you a game, but so can a 1k counter. You know what I mean? Or even something along the lines of like being able to pop a blocker. There's an argument for both. But I personally just like Vista in this spot a little better. Or if I'm going to go with an event, I'd rather go with a full-on 7-cost event that bottom decks 2 6-cost characters. Either way, that's a decision you'll have to make. But I will say this, with Rayleigh in the deck, guys, that 1-cost Seaquake is pretty nice, right? Because think about it. We could do minus 2,000 power with our leader and minus 3,000 power with Rayleigh, pop a 3,000 power less with Rayleigh, and then we can also pop a 3,000 power less with our Seaquake. So we can kind of wipe 2 things off the board, but that does cost 2 cards from hand, right? Our Rayleigh and our Seaquake. But, you do what you have to do, obviously. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next deck, guys. Not a lot to talk about. Everyone has kind of seen Whitebeard Pirates, but let's move on to the next deck and see how similar they all are. Okay, I got to mute myself one more time, guys, and I got to clear my throat. Y'all give me just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So next list here, I already like this one better just from looking at it. This is running the Sanji that I was talking about. So remember, we can set the top card of our deck with our leader. So take a minute, pause and read this card, guys. This is an OP06 Secret Rare Sanji, 9 cost, 9,000 power. On play, reveal the top card of your deck. I wonder what it could be, right? We can set it with our leader, right? We can literally set it with our leader. And you may put into play up to one revealed character with cost 9 or less other than Sanji. Then place the remaining card on the bottom of your deck if you miss, if it was an event, right? Excuse me, or if it was a 10 cost card. So what are we going to set to the top card of our life? Obviously Edward Newgate, right? Like this is the #1 choice because it'll establish a 9 cost 9k, a 9 cost 10k. Our leader will go up to 7,000 power for the turn. And now if we survive for the next turn, we're just going to run our opponent over. It's almost like an execute, to be honest. And remember, guys, Edward Newgate has Dawn ×2 when attacking. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. Well, it might as well say 5,000 power or less with this deck, because remember what our leader does. We can minus 2,000 power on our leader, by himself. So, really good stuff there. They are running a lot of the trigger card, or excuse me, the event cards to support their 4-cost Marco. We do have the 2-cost Marco as a 2 of in here. This one's running 1 dragon. That's interesting. I would actually rather this be a 7-cost ace. I'm just going to be honest. I think this should actually be a 7-cost 7k ace. #1, it's a cheaper card. #2, it has power reduction built in. And #3, yeah, I understand Dragon does pack more firepower for your attack if you're going for lethal. And I don't know, maybe there is something to be said there for like attaching 2 Dawn to your Edward Newgate for free while getting this 9k body and still having 2 Dawn left to work with for the turn. There's definitely something to be said there, because you could attach 1 Dawn to your leader, have 1 Dawn active for like a Radical Beam, and this is, actually, this deck's not running Radical Beam. And sometimes I've noticed they don't run Rad Beam, but at the same time, like, I get why, because it is a full 10 Dawn turn to do the Sanji plus Newgate combo. It is a full 10 Dawn turn. So I do understand people not wanting to run that full combo, but at the same time, Rad Beam is Rad Beam, guys. It's just good. Radical Beam is just Radical Beam. It's just simply good. Excuse me. Now, this list is running Doflamingo. It is like the 3-cost Doflamingo to do a top 5 arrangement. It is running Portgoss the Ace, the 5-cost blocker. This is a draw 2 and then put 2 on the top or bottom of your deck. And then it's running Pudding. So this is like this is practically not even a Whitebeard Pirates version of the list. Like, yes, it does have cards from Whitebeard Pirates like Marco, Ninebeard, and the Fire Fist event. But ultimately, this is kind of more the route I think it should go. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll talk more about that as we get into the games on the sim. But I do understand the idea of, like, basically keeping the deck just totally... Because let me say it like this, guys. One of the reasons people go, like, a theme, they go a type theme for their deck, is because they want to have a searcher, and they want to have their searcher be very consistent with their searches. Marco doesn't care. Marco just draws you an extra card every single turn, and then you can just start bottom decking if you're trying to cycle through your deck as fast as you can. It can also run, since it's blue, it can also run cards like this Sanji's Pilaf Draw 2. So I don't think running a searcher is even necessary for Marco, but it's never a bad thing to run a searcher, right? And excuse me, and instead it can even run Doflamingo. This is a top 5 arrangement card, and it's just really good, right? It's just a really good card, and it's a blocker, 3 cost. It seems good. And I have to say, I think we're going to see this card pretty much everywhere. Silver's Rayleigh in Marco is absolutely disgusting, right? Because you're going to be able to minus 3,000 power character with this, with the character effect, minus 2,000 power. Do that first with the leader. Do minus 2,000 power first with the leader, then minus 3,000 power with Silver's Rayleigh, and now you're popping an 8,000 power character because he hits a 3k or less. So, I mean, guys, this card is hitting an 8k or less. And notice this version is not even running the new 7-cost Newgate. I'm a little skeptical about that. Like, I really honestly feel like that would be an incredible card in this deck, even over this Dragon. I get it, Dragon is more aggressive, and hey, this guy did well, right? He got first place on a 32-player flagship. I'm not saying the deck's not good. Please do not misunderstand me. But what I am saying is, that 7-cost Whitebeard gives this deck, like, almost an entirely new identity. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. We got 2 more to go over real quick. This is a 30-player flagship. They got first place as well. This one is running the new Edward Newgate as a 4 of. It is running 3 of the new 5-cost 6k 1k counter Rush Ace. Only has Rush if you're Whitebeard Pirates. Excuse me. And this has a once per turn. If this character would be removed from play by your opponent's effects, you may give this character minus 2,000 power during this turn. So it does have resilience. It's a 1k counter. It's Whitebeard Searchable. It has rush. This card just has it all. You know what I mean? It has everything but a vanilla body. Let's just be honest. Everything but card draw or something. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be broken then. But it does have that. We do have Silver's Rayleigh. Notice this list is still running the 9-cost Sanji that we can combo a card into play off the top of our deck with, even though it's not running 9-Beard. Which, hey, I don't think that's that bad. Because you're playing out a 9-cost card and like a 7 or 8-cost card like this Newgate or like this Silver's Rayleigh. So for 9 Dawn, you're getting 17 Dawn's worth in this case, or 16 Dawn in this case. Yeah, not bad, not bad. And you're probably removing a character. In fact, you're going to be removing a character as well, right? Because you're going to use this leader effect to set your top card. So minus 2,000 power to one character, and then you can pop a 7,000 power character if you Sanji into this, and then it's going to be an 8,000 power character if you Sanji into this, into Rayleigh. So it's kind of a win-win situation, or even technically, if you have no other better option, you can combo into Marco. That's still a 14 Dawn turn, right, or a 14 Dawn play for 9, and you're still popping a 5k or less with your in combination with your leader effect. So it's just really good, guys. It just seems really strong. I like the 3 puddings. This deck is also running the Doflamingo like we saw in the last one. And yeah. And again, notice how we're not forced into a Whitebeard Pirates full-on theme. It might be the best way to go. It might not be. We'll have to see. Because I do think this is the way to go, guys. I'm going to be completely honest. I do think that Sanji is the way to go in this deck, whether you build it Whitebeard Pirate style or whether you build it totally open generic style. So we'll have to see what happens there. Okay, let's check out. We got one more deck to check out. This is the most recent one. This is from 7/27. And to put things into perspective, I'm recording this on August 5th. Okay, so this was about a week ago. Actually, this was just about a week ago. And let's see. This is the most recent list on here. Let's see what it's running. Okay, it is not running the 9-cost. It's not running the 9-cost Whitebeard or the 9-cost Sanji. This list is way lower to the ground, and it's using a card right here. It's using a card that can ramp cards from the top of your life. Check this out, guys. This card comes out in OP08. It's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter ace. Whitebeard Pirates type, of course. On play, reveal the top 1 card of your deck, and you may play up to 1 character with the Whitebeard Pirates type included in its types, and a cost of 4 or less. They have it as the bracket, but I'm wondering if it should actually be quotations like how Izo is worded. We'll have to see. There probably is a way to look this up, but I don't know off the top of my head. But either way, you're going to play a Whitebeard Pirates type card from the top of your deck if it costs 4 or less, and you can set it there with your leader, and that will give you a 5-cost 6k, and then also a 4-cost whatever. You can play out the Marco, you can play out the Jozu, you could technically play like an Izo if you want to, you can play out King Do. Pause and read this, guys. This is a 2k counter with an excellent activate main. And you can also potentially cheat out Speed Jill right here. This has an on-play reveal the top card of your deck and place on the top or bottom of your deck. If the revealed card includes Whitebeard Pirates, this guy gets Rush. So you could potentially basically have a 5 Dawn, 9 Dawn play. Like for 5 Dawn, you're getting 9 Dawn's worth, but it'll probably need to be a 6 Dawn play, right? So that way you can, 1 Dawn for your leader, set up your top card with the other 5 Dawn, play this card out, and cheat out the card you want to. This is another route for the deck, and it is running the other ace as well. So for your 10 Dawn play, you can actually just set everything up where it's like, okay, I'm going to set my top 2 cards. Let's just make it, excuse me. We'll play this card out first, right? 5-cost, 6k, 1k counter blocker. That's already good. I'll draw 2 cards, and then I'll put 2 cards on the top of my deck. The first card I put back will just be a random Whitebeard Pirates card. Maybe it'll be Seaquake or something, right? And then the top card of my deck then will be Speed Jill. And then I will play out this other Portgosti Ace, which will reveal the Speed Jill and put him into play. And the Speed Jill will reveal the Seaquake in this situation. And now I have Rush all around. You know what I mean? Now I have the Rush, and I've got a 5k and a 5k. So for 10 Dawn, we're basically getting 14 Dawn's worth. And one is a blocker, the other's coming in on that turn. It's very, very powerful. So this is basically a board flood version of Red-Blue Marco with a splash of Whitebeard Pirates. It still has the cards that are incredible for Whitebeard Pirates, like 7-cost Rush Ace, 5-cost Rush Ace. It's got the tools it needs to go pretty crazy, right? It's got some really good stuff here. It still has the removal, the 7-cost Newgate, the 8-cost Rayleigh. It has like the important stuff, and I would say this 5-7-8 curve right here, I know it's not a 5-7-9, but this 5-7-8 curve right here with Marco, Newgate, and Rayleigh, I think this is just so powerful, guys. It's got the utility from putting. This might be the best looking list we've seen so far, at least in my opinion, for the low, at least for that low to the ground stuff. The last one that we looked at, this one I liked the best, but the other one looked like it was the most practical. I like this one the best because it is just trying to go full board. So here we go. Hear me out. What do you want to do when you're building Marco? Do you want to fill the board out for the early game or for the late game? Because you're still packing the removal, right? You're still going to pack the Marcos, the Newgates, and the Silvers Rayleigh. Okay, you're going to pack removal. But then, what do you want to do? Do you want to be able to fill out the board with a bunch of smaller characters or a bunch of bigger characters? That's basically the choice you have. Okay, so now that's it for these games, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim games that I have for us. Excuse me. Let me go full screen here. Let me move my face over to where it should be. Make sure we're on 2x speed. The volume is off. Speed 2x. Yep. And we're good to go. Let me adjust my face one more time. There we go. It kind of like, sometimes like, you see how it's like whipping my face left and right, guys? I'm trying to get it right where I want it, but oh well. I'll have to make my, there we go. Good enough. All right. First game is Red Blue Marco versus Red Purple Law. Now, I will show the deck list at the end of the video. This is my own version of the deck list. It's not the same as what we've seen, but there are a lot of similar cards, of course, like the Whitebeard Pirate stuff. And I am obviously going Whitebeard Pirates, as you can see with the Ezo, because I do think there is something to be said about having a turn one play other than your leader. You can hey, one nice thing about Red Blue Marco is it's like Sakazuki. I always have a turn one play no matter what, whether I got a searcher or not, because I can attach one Dawn to my leader and then do one, a top card cycle. So that is very nice. Okay, let's see what happens here. So swinging for 5. So I swing for 5 and I swing for 5. I'm trying to get pretty aggressive here, to be honest. Because I don't want to give this Red-Purple Law time to set up. But he is running OP08, of course, because that's what we're in. Having that putting into Shashi and Penguin is just it is wild, guys. Being able to, like, on your this was his 4 Dawn play. But you can do it as early as 3 Dawn, where it's like, okay, I'm going to play out my 3 Dawn, or my 3-cost pudding. And then I'm going to bottom deck whatever you played last turn. Or even if you didn't play anything last turn, it doesn't matter. I'm just still going to use the effect and play out a Shashin Penguin and get all 3 of that Dawn back. So I got 7 Dawns worth on my 3 or 4 Dawn turn. It just seems a little bit crazy. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But it seems really good. And this is why people are running Fire Fist and Gravity Blade Raging Tiger for decks like this. Excuse me. So I swing for 6. He takes it and I punish him with a pudding. Pudding is one of those cards. It's one of the most punishing cards in the game. Because I think he had 7 cards. He had 6 or 7 cards in hand. And I'll do it if they have 6 cards. I don't care. Sometimes you have to just for tempo's sake. He's going to swing 5. I'm going to 2K. He swings 5 again. I counter out. I take that one. And now he's going to swing 5 with the pudding. And it's like, bro, you're killing me right now, right? This guy's absolutely smashing me. So I'm going to go ahead and use this effect right here. I'm going to minus 2,000 to that guy. Yeah, to the... whatever his name is, to the Eustace Kid. I'm going to swing 4 into 4, see if he wants to give it to me, and then I'm going to swing 6 into one of these other guys, which he'll probably defend out of. I was going to say, I had a feeling he would let that one go, because otherwise I was going to swing 6 into it. But then I swung into the characters there, and into the 5 case, and he actually defends those. He did give me a Black Maria for it, though, so that is good. Swing 5 into here. I'm going to counter out of literally every single thing I can. Number 1, I don't want to get close to 7 cards, because he can punish me with a 4-cost Law. 12 into 8, I was like, crap. That was a really good play, and now he can still Dawn -3 if he wants to. He didn't have a good follow-up. My turn. I am going to be able to wipe this board with a Rayleigh, which feels really good. Just do this. Okay, this guy's a 0 power character. Swing 6 into 0. You're not saving that card, right? He is not saving that card. So swing 5 in here. Like I said, I'm countering out of everything, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to counter out of literally every single card that I can in this situation. He got 2 very solid bodies there. So in this situation here, it's like, all right, let me see what I got. So I get an Ezo. I go ahead and put that on the bottom. I give minus 2 to some random character, and then I'm going to swing 8 and then 8 and see what he gives me. I'm hoping he'll give me a blocker. He's too smart for that. He knows I have 7 Dawn active. He knows I'm going to Gravity Blade 2 cards off the board, but I'm going to leave him with the worst one. I'm going to leave him with the Queen. That's technically the worst one, right? Because a 6 Dawn character is more important than a 5 Dawn when it comes to removing. 6 is harder to remove than 5, but they were all 6,000 power. And none of them had to win attacking. The only one, but the Eustace Kid I had to remove, of course. Okay, play mistake. We'll take those. We do take those, guys. That was an absolute play mistake, but I don't think it mattered either way. Because let's say he swings for 8. He has 8 Dawn left, right? Say he swings for 8 into my Rayleigh. I'm just going to 1K counter out with my with my card there. And then if he swings for 8 more into it, well, then he can't, right? So hear me out. Here's what he probably should have done. He would have had to swing for 6 into my face, and then, you know, and then I would have 1K countered out. If he wanted to swing 8 or 10 into Rayleigh, I wouldn't have allowed it. Yeah, hopefully y'all see what I'm saying. Swing 8 into 8. I'm counting out. Like I said, I'm counting out of every single thing they do right here. Nothing will survive. Nothing is going to survive this turn. You know what I mean? At least that's my thoughts on that. Or that's my route here. Okay, so I'm just making sure I have exactly what I need. I'm going to do minus 2,000 to this guy. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do this. I swing for 6 into 5. I want him to give me cards. He has to give me a card or a character on the board. So now I'm going to swing for 6 again. I think, yeah, I swing, or excuse me, 8, not 6. I swing 8 into there. Now I can remove his guy and have his queen at minus 3,000 power. That queen is a 3K. He swings for 5. I have to take it. I have no cards in hand. Let's see what he has. I'm basically saying you're going to have two or three rush cards this turn. You're going to need like a... Okay, he had to attach 5 there. Well, now I'm going to 1K counter out. The game's over. Right, so now he can't win. It's just literally impossible. There's no way to get out of it. Unless, and look what he had. He had fire. Like, that dude had heat in his hand. If that had gone through, if that attack had gone through there, I probably would have lost the game. So, in other words, what he probably should have done there... Well, see, he doesn't know my hand. I mean, he knows I'm in top deck mode. But let me see what was coming out of my life. I had a 2K counter and a 1K counter. So that's a Jozu and a Vista. If you cannot see that, guys, I know it's probably like with the resolution, it'll be very hard to see that. So I have a 2K and a 1K coming out of life. I don't know if there was a way for him to survive this one. So if he had swung 6, technically is what he should have done there. He could have dropped me down, you know, to 1 life. Then he could have swung 7, and then he could have swung 8. So technically speaking, he should have swung 6, 7, 8. But if that is the case, it still doesn't matter because I had a 1K counter in hand from the EZO, and then I was going to draw another 1K and another 2K, so I get out of the 8K attack at the end anyway. So he was just in a bad spot. There's pretty much no way out of it. You know what I mean? Good game, though. And that guy had some crazy cards in his hand. Okay, now, next game. Next game, we have a game of the mirror. Okay, we have a mirror match here. Speed 2x. I have to say this. So do you guys see the card I just drew? I drew the new 5-cost ace for the turn. I am not a huge fan of that card, guys. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I felt like I was using it as counter power every single game. The card that's on the screen right now. Pause and read it if you need to. I was just not feeling good about the card. Okay, so let's see what happens here. I am going to go ahead and just smash in with my leader. I'm trying to set my cards here. I'm going to swing for 8. I'll keep the EZO on the board. I think technically I should have swung for 5 and 5 to get a card out of hand, and then he'd take the next one. You know, like typically speaking, they'll like counter 1 and take the other one. Or maybe they counter out of both and I get 2 cards out of hand. I'll take that as well. You know what I mean? Okay, so 5 into 5. I'm just going to take that. Plays out Jinbei. So check this out. This is a 7 Warlords version of Red Blue Marco, which we are going to talk about because the last 2 games we're going to look at today, I am running that. Excuse me. Okay. So right here, EZO, I'm going to go ahead and... So what I did there, guys, I played out an EZO, did a top 5 search. I used my leader effect, and then I did a minus 2,000 power with my leader effect to the Mihawk, playing out Vista. I honestly think Vista is insanely strong, guys. Like, yes, it could have been a Seaquake. It could have just as well been a Seaquake, and that would have comboed well with your 5-cost Marco. I get that. I 100%... I like that. I get it. But I like having this body on the board as well. It really will come down to a preference thing. Yes, there is a little more synergy with 5-cost Marco, but at the same time, if you go the Vista, there is more board presence and 1K counter power. It's going to come down to preference, guys. I think so. At least I think so. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Just waiting on them to make their turn. They're going to swing 5. I need to start countering out. I go ahead and give them a 2K counter here, which was ugly. I didn't like that. Swing for 6. They're going to do their leader effect here. Yeah, so they're doing their leader effect. Let's see what they choose to do. It'll probably be minus 2,000 to the Vista, but who knows what their follow-up will be. I don't know if they're even going to have a follow-up. Maybe they have a 5-cost Marco. No, they have a 3-cost Doflamingo. So again, because this is the 7 Warlords of the Sea version, guys, they don't really have a lot of like power KO stuff going on. Maybe they only have the top end. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. But he just played out the Doflamingo that works like the actual OP01 leader Doflamingo, where I think you can activate main and pay 3 or something, or pay 2. Yeah, I think it's activate main, pay 2, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a 4-cost or lower, what do they call it? 7 Warlords of the Sea character, you can put it right into play. And I do think it comes into play rested, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But whatever the case is, I am on my 7 Dawn turn. I need to deal with this stuff. It's like, okay, this is my best chance of doing that. I'm going to do minus 2,000 power to one of these guys on the side, like the Jinbei or the Crocodile. After I decide what I want to do here, I put Sanji back on top of my deck. So I swing 3 into 3. He's probably going to give me a counter here. That's fine. Now I'm going to swing 6 into 3. And then I'm going to pop his Doflamingo because I need to slow him down a little bit. I have two 2Ks and a 1K in hand, so I'm not like in insane trouble just yet. And I'm pretty sure he's going to go for that Newgate. So check this out. He is running the top end like I was afraid of. So my 8,000 power character is minus 5,000 for the turn. That is a 3,000 power character now. That is a 3,000 power character. I'm not blocking out of that. You can have it 5 into 0. You can have that 7 into 5. I do take this. That might have been a little bit greedy, but I do have a play for this turn, right? I do have an idea of what I want to do here. So right here, I'm going to put a character on top again. I'm just going to put the Sanji back. I'll do minus 2,000 power to the ace. Now they're both 5,000 power characters. And I'm going to do minus 3, minus 2. So that way I can pop the... Okay, pause. I probably could have done that the other way around. But it allowed me to pop the Crocodile, and now I can swing 2s into the ace. Okay. Like I said, I think it worked out. I think I could have done that either way, and it would have been the exact same. Swing 6 in the leader with my 6 that's left, and now my opponent, they have a 10 Dawn turn here. But what are they going to do? I'm actually in the driver's seat of this game to a large extent. They can attack into me, but I will 2K counter out of a 6K attack. Yep, I have to counter out of that 6K. They play out Rayleigh. That is less than ideal. That was able to pop my Rayleigh, guys. So one thing I wish they had done for Rayleigh is I wish they had made him an 8 cost 9K. I'm just saying, because it would have played around the effect we just saw there. I think that's too strong what just happened right there. Because sometimes I feel like Rayleigh is like too fair of a card for a secret. Because then you see cards like Katakuri, which is an 8 cost 8K that can just bounce an 8 or less. It's like, why not at least give Rayleigh like an 8 cost 9K body or something like that? I would have preferred him be like a 7 cost 9K or a 9 cost 11K. That's what I wanted him to be. But, you know, it is what it is. And that combo right there of Rayleigh plus Marco the leader allows you to pop an 8,000 power less character and then give minus 2,000 power to another character until the start of your next turn. So it is very, very powerful. Okay, let's see what they do. They play out a Sengoku here. They do a top 5 search. I'm not sure what they searched up. I didn't reveal it. Now I'm going to use the leader effect. I'm going to set my Whitebeard on top because I do think I have one more turn of setup. So I'm going to play out. So pause. Don't attack first in this situation. Usually you'll attack first. But in the situation I'm about to do here, I'm playing out a 9 cost that plays out my Whitebeard. So that's going to buff my leader another 2,000. I'm going to swing after I get the buff. So I'm going to swing for 8,000 this turn. And then my leader will be 7,000 power on defense. I have 2 2Ks in hand, 2 1Ks. I have 2 life left. I'm feeling pretty good about this game. All things considered, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Okay, let me make sure. Are we not on 2x speed, guys? I'm sorry. Speed. Yeah, we are. Okay, we're on 2x speed. I got to find a way to include the little they have new timers in the game, right? In the new version of the sim. I need to find a way to put those in. He swings for 8 and a 7. That's a 2K counter to get out of. Feels pretty good. Okay, minus 2,000 power to my Sanji for the turn. Let's see what they do here. They're going to play out the Rayleigh. That doesn't matter to me, right? That actually doesn't matter to me. He's going to go minus 3 to the Sanji, minus 2 to the Edward Newgate, and that was that, right? Okay, let's see what they do next. I felt like I just saw my power flicker. I really hope I didn't just like lose anything with the recording. It is like a nasty hurricane going on down here, guys, at the time you're recording this. Okay, so right here, it looks like... sorry, guys, I did miss that rambling about the... Like I said, I thought I saw the power flicker. That really, really scared me. That really scared me. So right here, I'm going to use the leader effect, give minus 2,000 power to his Rayleigh. He only has 1 life left, but he did just kind of mess up my turn by lowering the power of my 2 characters with his Rayleigh. So let's see what I do here. Leader effect first to do minus 2,000 power. Oh, okay. Major mistake right here. Major, massive mistake right here. Hear me out. What I could have done was minus 2,000 power to the standing Rayleigh. Okay, the standing Rayleigh, and watch what could have happened. play out the 7 cost ace. I'd have 2 Dawn left for the turn because I have 1 on my leader, 7 for the ace. That's 8 Dawn. I have 2 Dawn left. What I could have done was minus 2,000 power to the Rayleigh, like I said, the standing Rayleigh, not the one I'm attacking into currently, the standing Rayleigh. And then when I play out the ace, it would give him another minus 3,000, take him down to 3,000. So now what I'd be able to do is attach 2 Dawn onto my new gate, smash into the rested Rayleigh, because he'd have minus 3,000 power as well from the 7 cost ace, and I'd be swinging 12 into 5. He's not saving that, and I'm KOing the standing Rayleigh in the process. That was strictly a play mistake. That was just a straight up mess up. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens, though. So I decide to go 6 into there. I'm at least eating cards from his hand. I go 6 into 6 twice, getting cards from his hand. But, man, that was such a blunder what I did. That was, even now it's a blunder by not playing out the ace now. Why wouldn't I just go for the cards and go for face? It's just, like I said, it was just a blunder, guys. It is what it is. So I smash into face here, and I KO the rested one. That was, I'm so frustrated with myself, guys, about how that went. And then I do at least get a 7k attack in to eat up the Rad Beam, and now it's my opponent's turn. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see what happens next. I might have to, like, pause the recording after this, like I said, just in case, and then, like, I'll edit it and put it together for the actual, you know, for going forward, just in case I lose power. I don't want to lose 1 hour's worth of content. Okay, so swing 7 into 5 right here. Let's see what they do. Or I counter up 2k, 1k to get out of that. Now I don't think he can win. I think he was hoping that attack would go through. Then he'd be able to swing for 7, 9. And that was his exact thoughts, okay? That was literally the exact thought of what he wanted to do there. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop the recording and pause it here and edit it together just in case something happens with the power. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me. All right, we're back, guys. We're back. Sorry about that. You guys probably won't see anything because it'll just be edited, but I had to do that just in case the power turned out or turned off. That would have been absolutely horrible. Okay, now back to where we were. 2x speed, volume's off, we're good to go. So third game, this is the last one we're going to see of the red-blue Marco Whitebeard Pirates version that I have. The next 2 will be 7 Warlords of the Sea. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna load up 1 here, do my leader effects, cycle through my hand a little bit. I love being able to have something to do on turn 1 no matter what. That's a really nice feeling. Excuse me. All right, so right here we've got a 4 Dawn turn. I'm gonna go ahead and play out a Vista here, I think, just to put a card on the board. Swing for 6, play out a Vista. It's a body on the board. It is what it is. All right, so now it is my opponent's second. So the first turn they just attacked me straight in for 8, and I had to take it. Now, the second turn here, they're going to attack me for a 9 and leave 1 Dawn active. I'm going to take it. I need to put down this Marco immediately. So there is no other option here. I need to start cycling through cards in my hand, and I need to start getting some cards that have counters on them, or I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Swing 7 at 5. He takes it. No trigger. Play out my 4-cost Marco. I'm already at 2 life because of how aggressive he was, and now I can put the brakes on him, right? Say, hey, bro, you're not getting through now easily. Go ahead and block this one. Let it come back with a 1k counter. Yep, any of these cards, bring it back. He swings 5 into it. Just going to 1k counter again. It's like, or 2. I might save the rush card. Let's see what happens here. That's fine. All right, I get a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, but that's actually not ideal for what I'm trying to do right now. Because I'm going to just attack into his board every single time, I think. Like, that's where I'm going with this. So what do I have on the board here? Oh, I think I'm going to play out a Rayleigh. Swing for 5 into 5. No reason to not counter out of this. He has 8 cards, 7 cards in hand. There's no reason to not counter out of this. Okay, let me make sure. We are on 2x speed, right, guys? Yes. All right. Play out the Rayleigh, pop his guy. I've got a body on the board now. I'm starting to flip the tide of this battle, right? I'm starting to flip the tides of this game. He plays out a Luffy. Okay, well, I'm gonna 1k counter out of this one, and then I'm gonna block with my blocker and save my guy. Right? Let it come back with the on KO effect, and I'm fine. Now, in this situation right here, I do want to start going into this Luffy. I don't want this card on the board for much longer, but I need to do it in the correct order. I establish... Okay, hear me out, guys. Whoops. I hit, like, P or something. I don't know what that did down there. Excuse me. Or I couldn't have hit P. Maybe I hit Alt, something like that. Anyway, I need to do things in the correct order. Minus 2,000 power for his... for the Luffy for the turn. And then I'm going to swing 8 into it, and then 8 into it again. I'm going to get cards out of his hand. I'm going to get my leader to 7,000 power for the turn. I'm going to develop my board, and I have a blocker, 2 life, 2k, 1k in hand. I'm just fine. I like to save my rushers for when I absolutely need them. Because a rush card comes down immediately, right? It comes down immediately and it can attack immediately. I just got a Radical Beam out of his hand, by the way. I just got a Radical Beam out of his hand to save that card. So I know he's low on counter power. I know that just right away. There was no reason to not use a 2K counter there. He might have a lot of 1K counters in his hand, but there's no reason for him to use a Radical Beam there. All right, let's see what he does. Okay, plays out a Rush Luffy. But remember, I'm a 7,000 power leader, guys. It's like, okay, well, that's an easy 2K counter. We'll take that. And let's see what he does here. Swing for 8. I think I do take this one. Yep, and I'm able to bottom deck the Luffy. Very nice. We'll get that off the board. And now I can use my blocker, bring it back with the Ezo, and now we're back like nothing happened, really, other than the one attack that got through. So right here, I am still in a little bit of trouble. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's do this the right way. I need to make sure I do this the exact correct way. Play out the ace, -3 there. Attach 1 to my leader. Just fix my hand a little bit. I have a 2K counter in hand. I go ahead and minus there. And now I'm going to swing into a 4K body with 6. Let's see what he gives me. If he defends this, I feel like it would be a play mistake. I mean, he can. I'll just keep running into it. It's fine with me. But I do feel like it would be a play mistake to give me a 2K, 1K right here, or 3 1Ks. Because remember, guys, last turn we saw he used a Rad Beam to save his guy. Let's see what he does here. Because it's going to be 6 into 4 and then 7 into 4. He gave me a 0 cost 3K. That's fine. So now it's like, all right, let me see how I want to do this. 7 into 4, not saving that. And now I can just start smashing in for 9s. And I'm actually going to leave 1 Dawn active, threatening a Radical Beam. Even though I don't have one. Okay, so he hits me with a Bad Manners Kick Course. I'll still swing 7 into 5. It's fine. He should take this because he only has 1 turn left. Did he do another Bad Manners Kick Course? Hang on 1 second. Sorry, guys. So I swing in there, and he does another Bad Manners Kick Course. Wow. Okay, sure. Hey, I'm not complaining about that, but I do feel like that's a play mistake. It's like, hey, bro, I don't have any more attacks. You have to win next turn. There is no other way to win this turn. Okay, showing me what you're going to do with your Dawn is not going to help you, guys. It's really not going to help you. So I see you have 1 attack left that I can't even block. So I guess I'll go ahead and use my blocker on this one and just finally let it go. Actually, I bring it back because it's like, wait a minute, next turn's the final turn. I take that hit, and now it's game over. There is no world in which he could survive this turn right here. I'm going to swing 9, swing 11 to start. It's game over. So I didn't know what was in his hand. It literally didn't matter. I was going to be able to swing for like 9, 9, 11, 9, 7, 7 or something. You know, like impossible to survive out of in the situation he was in. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Next up, we have the game versus Kaido. This leader is a real nuisance, guys. This leader is not fun to play against anymore, I have to say. This is like one of my least favorite leaders to play against currently with any deck, not just Red Blue Marco. Because of the way they can just trash life. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, guys. It's pretty good. All right, so let's see what happens here. I'm gonna do a top search here now. Okay, now we are over to the 7 Warlords package of Marco. Not my favorite. I thought I would like it more than I would. Maybe I was having an off night. Sometimes you have a bad night. But guys, it just felt weak, guys. I don't know how else to say it. And I am still mixing in removal from the Whitebeard package. So I'm gonna swing 6 into 5 here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this. He gets a pretty incredible trigger, man. This guy was getting the most insane triggers this game and like just help from his deck. And it was a very interesting deck, by the way. You'll see as we go through the game. But man, this did not feel good. He does the 1 cost event searcher, and I think he found Onigashima there. Let me see. Swing for 6. I'm going to 2K counter out of everything that I can because of how this leader works. Ramps another Dawn with another Basil, and right here I'm just trying to develop my board a little bit. I put a card. I think I put a card at the top or bottom. I can't remember. Swing for 6 here. I'm going to play out this guy. I'm trying to develop a board a little bit here so I have some aggression so I can start dealing with him. And I want him to feel uncomfortable. I don't want him to just comfortably start -7 Dawn, just taking my life, you know, randomly. So he does KO my Marco, and I cannot save it because I have no events in hand. So like I was saying earlier, guys, if you don't have events in your hand, Marco's not a great card in the deck. It is at least removal. It is. At the end of the day, Marco's always a good card. It's still a 5 cost 6K with a 1K counter that pops a 5 or less in this deck if you can use your leader effect. But normally it pops a 3 or less. Okay, and I do have some events in this deck, I believe. I don't think it's very many. Okay, so he's going to probably use his leader effect here, make me lose a life. I should have countered out of that. Looking back, I should have absolutely countered out of that, even if it was with the Gecko Moria. I feel like that was a play mistake, but oh well. Swing 3 into 2. He's not going to save that. That thing did its job. I'm going to play out an Edward Weevil. I'm going to swing for 5. I'm going to play out some cards here, probably the blocker. I'm going to set my top cards. I want the Boa Hancock next turn, even though it doesn't have a counter, because I want to use that to lock down any kind of card he plays this turn, because I'm in trouble. You know, thank goodness he didn't get a stage this turn. He probably would have won this game. Just being completely honest with you guys, being totally transparent. If he gets a stage this game, I'd probably lose the game. Excuse me. All right, so let's see what happens here. I'm trying to get kind of aggressive. I'm going to swing 5 and then 6 and then 6. And then I'm going to lock down a guy if he keeps the guy standing. So right here, swing 6, like I said, 3 times. This should get a 2K. Wow, does not counter out. That is risky. That is very risky, not countering out there. I do choose to swing with my block, with my my ace there to put on some extra, extra aggression, because I'm basically telling him like, hey, you're going to lose next turn. That's basically what's going to happen here if you don't have some kind of follow-up play. Swing for 7. Let's see where he goes. He can have the 3K. I was very relieved to see that. It's like, hey, bro, you can have the 3K. I'm going to swing 7 into 5. That is a magic number there. 7 into 5 is very hard to counter out of. I'm going to hit that there. I'm going to swing 7 more into 5. Okay, let's see what he does. I mean, he has to give me some cards here, right? So now, right now, I think what I should do is swing for 8. Yep, and then I can just go everything in on my Boa if he can't block. Okay, yep, GG. Swing for 12 into 5. Let's see if he has it. Look at his hand, guys. Look at his hand. If he had Onigashima and if this game went long, I was dead meat, man. I didn't have any chance against all that. Okay, one more game. One more game on the sim, guys. This is probably going to be a longer video than normal. My apologies. Hopefully we got some Red Blue Marco fans out there who will appreciate and enjoy this. All right, here we go. This is against Purple Yellow Pudding. Purple Yellow Pudding, I have to say something, guys. I think if Red Purple Law, let's just do some pause. Hypothetical. If Red Purple Law gets banned or gets nerfed to the point where he's pretty much unplayable on August 12th when they do the announcements for bans and restrictions, if Red Purple Law gets really slowed down like a lot or banned, I think Purple Yellow Pudding might be something to mess around with. We'll have to see what happens. All right, so right here, excuse me, we're gonna. I just did my leader effect to fix my hand a little bit. He's got 2 7-cost Linlins on the top of his deck, but watch this, guys. Not attacking for a reason. Why am I not attacking? He is on a 6 Dawn turn. If I had attacked for 5 or 9 or whatever, he would have taken it, and then he would have played out a Katakuri to go to 7 Dawn for the turn, fixing his top life card, and then he'd have swung with his leader to go to 8 Dawn, and then next turn he would be on 10 Dawn when I'm untapping after, when I just had my 6 Dawn turn, he will be on 10 Dawn playing Linlin. Do not attack into Pudding. Public service announcement, PSA, public service announcement. Do not attack into Pudding if they are in this situation where they just untapped with 6 Dawn. They have 2 cards, or excuse me, hang on, where they have 4 Dawn, right? Because it's on the previous turn. If your opponent is a Purple Yellow Pudding and they have 4 Dawn, and they have 2 cards on top of their life that have been revealed, do not attack. They will take the first hit to go down to 3 life. Then they will play out on the next turn when they go to 6 Dawn. They'll play out the Katakuri, flipping their top card face up, ramping a Dawn, and then swinging for 6 with their Pudding and ramping another Dawn so they can play Linlin on the following turn. You do not want that smoke, guys. You do not want all that smoke. Trust me. You don't. You do not. They're upset about that. Now let's see what they play for the turn. This will pretty much mess up everything they just did, because like I said, now they can't ramp. Look, they pause. They literally had the combo I'm talking about. Like, it's not even a question. They had it. So right here, he's going to swing for 5. I'm just going to give him a 1K counter. I think he should have swung for 6. Okay, he's actually doing some searching. He's actually trying to fix his hand. That's fine. Okay, let's see what happens. So right here, now I can attack all I want, because he's going to be on 9 Dawn next turn, literally no matter what. It doesn't matter, unless he hits like a trigger, potentially, but I know what his top 2 life cards are. So I'm going to swing for 6 3 times. Excuse me. All right, swing for 6 3 times. I just got 2 2K counters out of hand, and I'll swing for 6 again, and I know he has a 7-cost Linlin, and then 4 other cards. One of them is a 9-cost Linlin I saw from the search. All right, here we go. My opponent's turn. They hit me with a 7-cost Linlin. I am trashing the life every time. Swing for 5 into there. I am going to save that. I am going to save that if I can. I'm actually going to save everything that I can here. 8 into 6, you're not getting it. Not yet. You might get it later in the game, but you're not getting it now. And now he plays out a pudding with his remaining Dawn. Okay, just waiting for him to do a search. I think he does get a Tinlin. Yep, I'm pretty sure he got a Tinlin right there. Even though he's, I believe, let me not say anything because I don't want to spoil the game. So right here, I'm swinging 8, or excuse me, I'm swinging 5, 6, 6, and then I think one more 6 with my leader. Okay, swing here. Yep, then do this, do a top search right here. I need to start adjusting my cards. I trash a card, or I put a card to the bottom that did not have a counter. -2 to that Katakuri. Now right here, I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. I've got a lot of options here. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play out a blocker. I'm going to go 9 into 5, play out Jinbei plus a blocker, set my top cards. Next turn, I'm going for lethal, right? Guys, make sure you're focusing on the macro element of the game. Let me pause for a second. I mentioned this in a video. I'll try to link in the comment section below for anyone who's interested. I talk about like looking at the micro level of the game, which is like exclusive to what am I going to do on this turn? That's just the micro, and you need to do something on the turn, right? But then there's the macro where it's like, okay, what am I going to do this turn that lets me win the game next turn? Okay, or what am I going to do this turn that plays around what my opponent is going to play next turn? I filled out the board for a reason. I'll pause for a second. Why do you guys think I filled out the board? I don't want him to drop Tinlin, right? That's the reason. It's what I'm saying to him is, hey, if you drop Tinlin, I am going to punish you. I'm probably going to just win the game, right? So that's literally what I'm doing here. 5 into 5, you're not getting that. Okay, 6 into 5, that's, or 6 into 6 there, you can have that one because I know he's playing Linlin. I would have saved it if I could. Okay, well, I've got one plan lined up here. We're going to go in for 6, 4 times, guys, or 5. I can't even count. 6, 5 times is what's about to happen here. Coming in for 6. If he takes this, then I'm just going to run him over, obviously. It's like, okay, I saw you just gave me a bunch of 1Ks. Here you go, buddy. Here's a 7K. I got a 7K for you. He gives me a 0 cost 3K. Now I'm going to swing for, I think I should swing for 5 here. I have 8 cards in hand. I'm like, no, actually 6 should get through. Because remember, we already saw him give all those 1Ks. It's like, okay, so that was your last way to get out of a 1K attack. Because I know he has a 9 cost Linlin, and he did play a 10 cost. So I know he has some dead cards in hand. I go 6 here. He gets that. I did it in that way to play around beige. If he had hit a beige to hit my Marco, that was going to allow me to play out the 7 cost ace and finish off the game. At least potentially. Okay, so here we go. Since he didn't have that, he is done. We had to get him out of the game. Like I said, because I was attacking the way I was able to feel out that he had no counters in hand. And paying attention to the searches that happened. Because he did search up something with that pudding. So I probably knew 2 of the cards in his hand. I just can't remember. Okay, that was it. That was it for the games. Let's go ahead and hop it over to the sim here. And check out what I was running. What was the craziness that I was running there? So this is the version I was using for the Whitebeard Pirates version. The list feels good, but I have to say, guys, I don't know if I'm just playing this card wrong. The card you see on the screen, this new 5-cost ace from ST15. But man, it just didn't feel good. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I really honestly just didn't like it. And one thing that makes me very sad about this card is you have to have a leader that has Whitebeard Pirates in his types to give it rush. It's like, man, you know, hey, you know what this card would have been really good in? One of my favorite decks right now, you know, red, yellow, Sabo. Man, this card would have been lit in there if it did not require Whitebeard Pirates to have rush. I don't even care about the once per turn effect. I know for a lot of people that's the best part of the card. But for me personally, I'm like, dude, I don't even care about that part. That part doesn't even matter to me. I need this card to like have rush in a deck like red, yellow, Sabo. But anyway. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to get greedy. Don't worry. Don't mind me. I'm just being greedy, wanting all the cards that are the best in the world for my deck. But no, I'm just messing around. So anyway, back to what we were saying here. This card just was underperforming for me personally. Maybe it was the matchups I was going against. Maybe it was just me not playing it the right way. I'll put more time into it because I do think this card is absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, like I said, I wasn't really feeling great about this card. Okay, other than that, Rayleigh is insane. The 7-cost ace is insane, but I might be able to go down to 3 of these. We might have an open slot if we drop down one of these. Same thing with Gravity Blade. I think I can go down to 3 of those. Whitebeard as well. I think I can go down to 3 of these. I liked having 2 Sanji, but maybe I go up 1 more Sanji for the bigger power plays, like, you know, Sanji into Rayleigh, Sanji into Newgate, Sanji into this Newgate, Sanji into any of these aces. There is something to be said there. Hang on. Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute. Excuse me, something's off. This is not correct. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. That was not the correct list. Got you guys. I got y'all, didn't I? Yeah, sorry about that. That was definitely not the correct list. This was, but this isn't either though. Hang on. I know that neither of those were. Hang on one second. I know the Warlord 85. That's one we're about to go to. Well, I'm starting to think I changed it, guys. I'm starting to think I changed it. I know it's not this OP08 version, right? Oh, wait. No, this isn't it because it doesn't have any of the new cards. All right, maybe I tricked y'all by tricking y'all, right? Tricking myself, tricking y'all. We are on inception levels of trickery right now. I'm guessing this is the list, or at least the closest thing to it. But I could have sworn that I was trying something else out here. Because I thought I did go down one ace and go up one Sanji, and the same thing with this new gate, because I was going to fit in the 5-cost Marco. Wasn't I playing the 5-cost Marco, guys? Am I crazy? You guys help me out in the comment section below. I could have sworn I had 5-cost Marco in this list. No idea anymore. I'm losing it, guys. I'm absolutely losing it. Whatever the case is, this is a list that I was running. I do think it can go down to Gravity Blade. I went down to 3 right there in front of y'all. I think it can go down 1 Newgate. I think it can go down 1 Ace, so where it's like 3, 3, and 3. And then maybe even potentially -1 of these aces and just going up the 5-cost Marco. So an immediate revision to the list is what you see right here. I think this would be decent. I get it. There's not many stage or events to save this character. But like I said, it doesn't matter. The card's just simply good, right? This card is just a good card. There's no way around it. It's a 5-cost, 6,000 power card with a 1k counter with an on play that KOs a 3,000 power less card. Well, remember, guys, Marco works real good in Marco the Leader, right? Marco the character works really well in Marco the Leader because you can just absolutely go crazy with this -2,000 power, popping a 5k or less, or even a 7k or less with Newgate, right? 5k or less with Marco, 7k or less with Newgate. One thing I do want to mention is, like, one of the reasons that I really, really like the Whitebeard Pirates version is I think Marco is just insane. Like, I think Marco's actually just so good. That's just me. I'm kind of just rambling today, guys. Y'all bear with me. I'm just on one day, I guess. But I really do like the Marco because you guys saw in the game versus Sanji, I was like, dude, you can attack for 1,000,000 if you want to. I'm just going to block it and just pitch 1 card and save my guy every time. As soon as I'm down to 2 life, I'm going to do that every single time. So having this card out, I think, is very good because, number one, this card's extremely good, just like the 5-cost version. This is a 4-cost 5k, 1k counter with block or non-KO, bring it back by trashing a Whitebeard Pirates type card. Every card in here is Whitebeard Pirates type, except like 8 cards. Let me see. 4, 5, oh, excuse me, 4 plus 3 is 7. Math. And then, okay, and then plus 4, so 11. So there's like 11 cards in this entire deck that are not Whitebeard Pirates. I'll take it. You know, that's plenty. But, yeah. So that's this list. Let's go ahead. You know, I will have this put in the comment section for you guys to try out at home if you want to try it. And then the other version that I'm still working on is this Warlords 85 one. Maybe this is where I was thinking of the 5-cost Marco being in the list. I don't know, guys. I'm so confused now. I could have sworn I had it in my other list. Maybe I just, when I was putting the deck together, maybe I forgot about the card. Which does happen, guys. I try to build so many different crazy decks. Right now, I have like 25 or 30 recorded games ready for future videos. I'm trying games all the time. Okay, I'm trying different things out all the time, especially right now with Red Yellow Sabo. I've got like 25 games of that, just of that leader alone. So I'm kind of all over the place. But yeah, this version was pretty good. I'm a big fan of this curve. Hear me out, guys. There is a dream curve in this deck where it's like going second. You do want to go second with this version, where it's like, okay, turn 2, Jinbei into Weevil. Turn 3, 6 Dawn turn, Boa Hancock. Turn 4, Rayleigh. And it's just like, wow, I've got a 5-cost, or a 5k, a 6k, an 8k, and an 8k on the board. And I'm attacking with all these cards each turn. I'm slowing them down with cards like Boa, and then I'm also KOing cards with cards like Rayleigh, and just attacking the board and finishing off their board. So I really do like that curve. And then you have late game finishers like this 7-cost Ace. Yeah, it just seems good, right? It just seems really good. By the way, that's another solid combo in the list where you can go Ace into Vista. You can pop a 6k or less with that interaction, or you can always just pop a 5k by using your leader and Vista at any point in the game. Same idea with, you know, leader plus Marco, 5k at any point in the game. So really good stuff there. It is running the Boa Hancock here that can let me, you know, do some top 3 reveals and stuff, because I want to set up something where I can use this Crocodile to my advantage, because this card is an on-play reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If that card has 7 Warlords of the Sea in it type, or excuse me, has the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, you can draw 2 cards and place one from the top, from your hand to the top of your deck. So realize this is a draw card effect. Like you go up one card with your card advantage when you play this card, right? Well, actually, I guess you technically break even. It replaces itself and allows you to cycle 2 because you play this card out of your hand and then you reveal the top card. If it's 7 Warlords of the Sea, you draw 2 and you only put 1 back. So it is a way to break even. It's a 4 cost 5k 1k counter, 7 Warlords. It's kind of everything we need. One more thing that I will mention is there probably is an idea to include the card we saw the other another player playing today. We played against another red-blue Marco, and they were playing a 7 Warlords package, and I did like what they were running. There's a 3-cost Dofi, this one. So this is a 3-cost 4,000 power Doflamingo. Activate main, once per turn, pay 2, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If that card is 7 Warlords of the Sea type, and it costs 4 or less, you may play that card rested, then place the remaining card on the bottom of your deck if it whiffs, right? So this is a way to put a body on the board. It's a way to also start cheating out characters and capitalizing on your leader's effect and on your Boa Hancock's effect. You know, and stuff like this, of course. It all kind of goes together. Another card that was not as good, I did try it, and it was not as good, was the little 2-cost dude. This new guy here. 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter. Place 1 card from your hand at the top of your deck. Attach up to 2 Rest and Dawn cards to one of your leader characters. I tried this card and thought it'd be good. I'm not saying it was bad, but I didn't really care for it. That's just me. Okay, well, that's it, guys. I'm done rambling. I'll have everything linked in the comment section below for these decks if you want to try these out, mess around with them, tell me how they work. I'm really... Guys, Red, Yellow, Sabo, that's the arc I'm in currently. Like, that's the arc that we're on in this channel. But I am a huge fan of this leader. I love how he works. Number one, it's probably going to be one of, if not the best decks to run Rayleigh in. So, of course, my eyes are wide open. Like, okay, a chance to play Rayleigh, right? This is a chance for me to play Rayleigh in the game and have a deck that actually works with it. So you better believe I'm trying to make something work there. But we'll see what happens. Hey, who knows? Maybe Rayleigh will end up in a Red, Yellow, Sabo deck. You know, who knows? You never know. All right, let's keep going, guys. We got one more thing to cover in today's video. We got to talk about an arc critique. Okay, speaking of Sabo, this guy right here, man, Red, Yellow, Sabo, he's just popping up everywhere for me. So we're even going to cover him, in today's video, and it's pretty appropriate. We're on a red and blue deck, so we'll stick with the red theme, and we're talking about Red, Yellow, Sabo. It's a perfect segue, right? Perfectly going over to here. So this is a new alt art version coming out of the PRB01 set. Let's just talk about something right away. This is how it should have looked, right? This card should have been the 5 cost. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of fun today, guys. Like I said, I'm on one today, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm just having fun today, just trying to have a good time. Let's get out the text box here. Yep, we'll make this white. And this is what this card should have been, right? This should have been, whoops, that's not a 5. There we go. We'll do it like this. Let me get off of it. Oh, did I not do a 3D one? Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. So we got the, actually, and then I didn't make it bold. Of course. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. Here we go. 5. We'll put this up here. Oh, maybe I just didn't drag it to the front. There we go. So we'll get the 5 on here. This should have been the 5 cost 6K version. You know what I mean? This should have been the 5 cost 6K version of the card. Okay, don't worry. We're going to fix everything right now. Everyone knows this is what the card should have been. It should have been the 5 cost, 6,000. Now I got to... Okay, we're just going to write 6 on here. You ready for this? Just like that. This should have been the 5 cost 6K, the blocker for the PRB set. And look how sick this art would have went. This art would have gone crazy with a black card. That theme just would have looked so good. But no, joking aside, guys, I'm just having a little bit of fun today. Boop, boop. There we go. This is the card. This is the 6 cost 7K Revo Army version of Sabo that has on play pop up to 2 characters with a combined power of 4,000 or less. It KOs them. It's more about cost reduction stuff or power reduction stuff. We're not going to worry too much about the effect. As far as the composition goes, I love what they did. This is one of the few cards, I have looked at a few others as well, but this is one of those cards where the background is a major part of this piece. Like, look at the moon in the background. I'm not going to draw the circle. Y'all know the moon's a circle, right, guys? Okay. But I thought the Earth's flat. No, I'm just kidding. We're all over the place today. But no. So we got the moon back here, right? This is a very directional piece, because notice this bird that he's surfing on. He's like riding this bird right here. It's pointed in this direction. These birds are also, whoopsies, all of the stars are kind of pointed in the same direction. Okay, like everything is very directional here with what's going on. Whoopsies. With the actual background of the piece, everything's kind of coming, you know, to a central point, probably over here. Let me go like this. Let me take the fill off and put it on white, and then we will just rotate it. It looks like everything's kind of going this way. Let me hang on one second, guys. Let me just push this one back. It keeps going in front of everything I'm doing. There we go. So like everything is kind of going, you know, in this direction. Let me narrow it down. Everything's kind of pointing in this way. Does that make sense? Hopefully you guys can see that. If you have any, you know, comments, questions, suggestions, you know, never be afraid to put those, you know, in the comment section. Whoopsies. I was supposed to do this one. There we go. So everything's kind of pointing forward. We're looking at, you know, we are progressing. What's the idea with the Revo army, right? They're trying to take over the world government, right? Forward, progression. You know, we're working towards this path. We have to keep going forward. We have to keep working in the correct direction here. We're trying to make a better world, okay? Really good stuff. Now, as funny as it is, this is kind of going backwards for us. Like you know, I guess it depends on what way you want to see it, because whenever I think of forward, being in America, I mean, I'm from the United States, we write left to right. So typically forward would be facing this direction, right? So I guess hang on, I'll fix it. We'll fix it today. We'll snag the entire piece, and whoops, I didn't get the, there we go. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's how you would think of it if you're from America and you read left to right, right? This is kind of how it would be, but at least for the idea that I'm going for here. And again, I'm not saying the artists are ever doing these exact ideas that I'm saying. I'm just trying to say that this is something that makes us attracted to it as viewers. And again, this is all subliminal. You don't have to say, okay, today I'm going to sit down and draw a piece and we're going to have it face this direction and this. They might, you know, some might do that, right? You know, who knows? Every artist works differently. But this actual piece right here, I'm a huge fan of it. I don't know anything about the anime or the manga as far as like Sabo goes. I don't know any of his background, any of his story. But hey, him riding on this bird and all these birds in the background, he's on top of this city, guys. Can y'all see like a little house back here? There's a little house. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background of this picture, and it looks really good. And you got the moon back here. It's like shooting stars surrounding him, or maybe it's just showing movement and direction. And it just looks so good. He's got like this crowbar, this like pipe that he uses as his weapon. I love the top hat. I like that he's got the goggles. You know, hey, you know, me being a Four Eyes, right? You know, it's cool. It pulls down the goggles. He's got those bad boys right there. Just looks awesome. The moon in the background. Very, very soft colors in this one. Like these blues, they're vibrant enough to keep your attention and to be like, wow, you know, that really pops, right? When we zoom in on it. Like, yeah, these are very vibrant blues, but at the same time, the way it's all put together, it's very soft on the eyes because it all kind of blends together very well. There's not a huge amount of contrast that you'd see here outside of the red, right? Outside of these red borders. All right, I'm not going to go for much longer, guys. This is like the longest video ever. I'm sorry. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Big shout out to all of the people who support me in whatever ways you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my channel, buying playmats from me. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. Whether you're just donating to help the channel out, literally just to help out. Big shout out to the VV Pirates patron page guys over here. Thank you guys so much. I feel absolutely blessed. Thank y'all so much, guys. And the channel's just doing so well. I could not be more appreciative. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.